You know what I always found funny? The way Kia compares its cars to some of the most expensive and prestigious vehicles out there. For example, when talking about the EV6 GT on its website, Kia says this head-turning vehicle is not to be outdone, accelerating faster from 0 to 60 than a Ferrari Roma and the Lamborghini Huracan Evo Spider. You know, because someone considering a Ferrari or a Lambo might just go, nah man, I'll just get a Kia instead. Nonetheless, this is the fastest and most powerful Kia ever made. Let's pop it in GT mode and go. Whoa! My name is Omar and this is the Kia EV6 GT. This thing is insanely fast. Check this out. I'm cruising at about 40 miles an hour and I'm just gonna hit it and everything flies around and it just takes off. This is crazy. All right, so the EV6 GT is the faster version of the EV6 that I personally said was one of the best non-Tesla EVs you can buy. And what you're working with here is a dual motor setup that makes a crazy 576 horsepower and 545 pound-feet of torque. And yeah, that will send this from 0 to 60 in just 3.4 seconds. That's right, you can do 60 in 3.4 seconds in a Kia. This isn't just the fastest Kia ever, this is the fastest vehicle that Hyundai Motor Group has ever made. It's crazy how instant the acceleration is. You just tap the accelerator, and this thing wastes no time at all. Of course, you have to be in GT mode to unlock all that power, and you can do that just by pushing this green button on the steering wheel. Launching the EV6 GT is simple. You just pop it into GT mode and that's it. There's no launch control mode or foot on the brake gas all the way down needed because in GT mode, the traction system in here is smart enough to minimize wheel slip all on its own. Not only that, the EV6 GT has a drift mode as well. To enter drift mode, you keep it in GT or sport mode, then you hold the traction button down until traction and stability control both are turned all the way off, then you pull on both paddle shifters and you'll enter drift mode. So yeah, while this is definitely not something someone would buy over a Ferrari Roma or a Lamborghini Huracan, this is still very, very impressive. The handling isn't terrible, but I don't feel like it's that much sharper than the regular EV6. Keep in mind, this thing still weighs over 4,500 pounds, so it's a heavy car to push around. The ride is definitely a bit stiffer than the regular EV6, so you will feel bumps over uneven surfaces. And then there's the range. This is where the EV6 GT falls apart because it only gets 205 miles on a full charge. The other EV6 trims will give you anywhere between 274 to 310 miles. And because of that, I highly recommend not using GT mode every single time you drive this because that will quickly kill your range. Check out how much the range drops when I switch between Eco into GT mode. That's a pretty significant drop. I mean, that's almost like about a 20-mile range just gone. Now, the other drive modes that you have in here include Eco, Normal, Sport, and you also have something called My Mode, where you can go in and customize this to your personal liking. But honestly, I've just been jumping back and forth between Eco and GT mode. And it's a constant inner battle in this. Do I want to be in GT mode and go, go, go? Or, oh, no, my range just keeps dropping, so I should just go back into Eco mode and just cruise lightly. In my opinion, 205 miles isn't something that's going to impress or attract a lot of buyers to the EV6 GT. Unless you're someone just driving 30 miles back and forth from work and you also have a charging setup at home. Speaking of charging, this is still one of the fastest charging EVs out there. It'll go from 10 to 80% in just 80 minutes at a DC fast charging station, and I'm sure you'll be going a lot to that DC fast charging station because you're driving an EV6 GT. Yeah, in GT mode, the acceleration is just punch you in the stomach quick. It just takes off instantly. And it's not like it's all over the place. They've really calibrated this really well. So as you just ease it on the accelerator, it will take off, but it will do it in a very, very seamless way. On the other hand, it will also kill your range in a very seamless way. But yeah, I gotta say, this thing is insanely quick, kind of make it hurt quick. I just wish it had the range to back up all this outstanding level of performance. Now, you may be wondering why this doesn't have better range, and that's because this still uses the same 77 kilowatt per hour battery as the regular EV6. So with no improvements to the battery capacity, there's no improvement in range. Could Kia have used a bigger capacity? Yes, but I think this is just their attempt of showing us what they're capable of first and then going all in, hopefully. That said, let's quickly talk about the exterior design of the GT here because it actually just looks like a regular Kia EV6. The thing with electric car design is that the faster versions don't end up getting a body kit or anything like that because that would add weight and decrease range, so they just end up looking like the slower versions. The quickest way to tell this apart from a slower EV6 is to just look at the neon green brake calipers. This also rides on these 21-inch wheels, which I really like the design of, but I'm guessing they don't help with the range either. And other than that, there is a GT badge on the back, and then on the front you have a slightly different grille. But yeah, that's about it. No other craziness going on when it comes to looks. Now let's check out the inside, and again, it's not much different in here than the regular EV6. You get a lot of the neon green color here in the cabin as well. You have neon green stitching, green piping on the seats. The steering wheel has a GT button in neon green, so yeah, that's the color of the GT. Now, unlike the regular EV6, the GT gets sport bucket seats in the front, which are actually not that uncomfortable. They looked really uncomfortable to me at first, but I got used to them over the week of driving it, and they're not that bad. You get heated and ventilated front seats as standard with the GT, and of course you also get a heated steering wheel. Not to mention, this is a flat bottom steering wheel because, you know, it's that sport life. But yeah, everything is nicely laid out and very spacious, just like the regular EV6. You have a ton of storage area right here underneath the center console, and it's just nice and roomy and a comfortable place to be. As for the tech, it's all the same as the regular EV6. You get two 12.3-inch displays. The one in the middle is your infotainment display. It's just as simple to use as it is on other Kia models. Everything is nicely laid out and very clean. Although I still don't understand why Kia doesn't do wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. Both are wired in here and you have to use a USB 8 connection to get them working. That said, since this is an EV, there is an EV section in here where you can go in and adjust the various charging settings. And just like the regular EV6, the GT here is also capable of bi-directional charging, so you can run some appliances or even charge another EV. Although you might not have enough range to give up here. Now, the digital gauge cluster display is also pretty straightforward. Nothing too crazy fancy. It's got a ton of info and a bunch of different viewing themes. But the best thing about it is the blind spot cameras that come on every single time you signal. I always say this, but this is definitely one of my favorite Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis safety features. Speaking of safety, this thing is pretty well packed. You get adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, lane tracing assist, blind spot notification, but you also get highway driving assist, which will let this automatically switch lanes for you. Camera game wise, you have a rear view camera, a 360 surround view camera, and a 3D view, so you're pretty well equipped. But yeah, overall, a very solid cabin to be in on a daily basis, but let's pull over and check out the practicality that you have in the rear seats and the cargo area. All right, so practicality. Hop in the second row of the Kia EV6 GT and you have the same legroom as you do in the regular GT, a total of 39 inches. I'm about 6 foot tall. That is my seating position. I sit further back than the normal human being should, and I've got plenty of room. It is very spacious and very, very comfortable back here. EV6 and the Hyundai Ioniq 5 are more like SUVs than hatchbacks. Not to mention the EV6 GT here comes standard with heated rear seats. All right, let's check out the cargo capacity. And I'm afraid to pop the trunk because I have a lot of stuff in there. You can pop open the trunk by using this button located right down here. And once you get it opened, you have 24.4 cubic feet behind the second row. I've got my daughter's car seat and a bunch of my filming equipment. And with the second row folded, you have 50 cubic feet. So it's plenty spacious. And here are shots from my regular EV6 review. All right, before we get into the pricing details and whether or not if you should get yourself an EV6 GT, let me point out a few important daily ownership highlights that I'd love to show all of you. You have a total of 4 cup holders, 2 in the front, one for my Dunkin' iced coffee, of course, and then you've got 2 right here in the center armrest in the back. Here are the keys to the EV6 GT, which you can use for remote smart parking because this thing is educated. All right, come on back. Come on back, EV6 GT. That's right. You're smart. Door close sound from the outside. And the inside, solid. Charging game wise, you have a lot going on. You have a USB A and C port right there and another USB-C port right there, and your wireless charger is right here in the center console. Those sitting in the back have 2 USB-C ports right there. And of course, let's do an indicator and horn sound test. Indicator first. Nice Kia Hyundai Genesis indicator. Love that blind spot camera. Now for the horn sound. Oh yeah, solid. So, should you get yourself an EV6? Yes, you should definitely get yourself a regular EV6, but I would skip the GT until the range gets a little bit better. This starts at around $62,000, and while it's an exhilarating EV to drive, that range just isn't enough for that price that you pay. The EV6 GT Line all-wheel drive will give you more range and is only around a second slower. Even the EV6 Wind all-wheel drive trim for around $53,000 is a very impressive EV. I love everything about the EV6 GT, and it's been an awesome week of driving this around. But at this price tag, I need this to hit more than 300 miles of range to really consider it a real win. Either way, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. My handle is @OmarDrives. I'll catch you guys at the next one. Take care. Peace. GT mode. Oh my God, here we go. Whoa! I gotta slow down. So afraid of getting pulled over. This whole week, I've been so afraid of getting pulled over in a Kia. The cop would pull me over and be like, "Are you driving a Ferrari Roma or a Kia EV6 GT?" I've been like, "Kia EV6 GT, bro." GT mode all day.